the first 2 seconds, we're back live. This is, in no particular order, trending podcast with the lovely and beautiful and Instagram influencer Shannon. That's what I put on the. That's what I put on the thing on the promo
Hilarious. Love it.
because I could. And we are going to do 43 minutes Saturday mornings. You should join us. We're going to talk about whatever. Probably some sports, but not all sports, unless, of course, it involves the Fox pregame show, which is the prettiest show in the universe. Like, even if you don't like college football, you need to watch the Fox pregame show. Brady Quinn, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart. I don't even have the
What?
sound on. I
Wow.
know, right? It's
That
like,
is good.
thank you. That's like, hello, good morning. Urban Meyer's on it, and I don't even care. Like, I distaste for Urban Meyer. I don't care because you have Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, and Brady Quinn all looking so yummy. Anyway, hi Shannon, how are you?
I'm good. This week has been good. A little
Yay!
tiresome, but overall, 2 thumbs up.
I'm liking the facial hair. That's new, yeah?
Yeah, I grew a beard.
Yeah, it looks
I have a
good.
beard now.
You,
Thanks. It contrasts well, but I'm not. It doesn't. It's not me. I got to get rid of it at some point.
why? It looks good.
Sure. Great. I'm a mustache man. That's just.
I'm a stash man. All right,
Yeah.
okay. That's
I was
totally
getting. I was getting some subtle hints to grow a beard, so not so subtle.
which is
Grow a
really
beard.
grow a beard. That's subtle. That is pretty
Yeah.
subtle. Which is really
Yeah.
weird because Travis Kelsey
Mm-hmm.
with a beard and mustache is the tasty morsel that he is. But I saw him on the sidelines because he's hurt, of course. Why would he
Mm-hmm.
be hurt for the first game? But I don't have any Travis Kelsey in fantasy, so I don't care. But he just has a mustache. Not so tasty. He's not
Yeah,
so.
I've heard. I think he shaved altogether, and
Oh my
people were
God!
like,
Last year, yeah,
yeah, they were
no,
like, this is not good. And I thought,
no,
it's still cute.
no. What? No, no, no. Someone I read somewhere. Someone said he went from "Who's your daddy?" to "Hey, can I have your daughter home by 9 p.m."
Yeah, I think he and Kirk Cousins like flip flopped a little bit. Like Kirk Cousins was like, "Oh, I'll have her home by 10, sir." So like now he's like,
Nah, she'll get
"You'll
home
see
when
her."
she gets home.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, she'll get home when she gets
Oh, she'll get back. Can't say what kind of condition she's gonna
home.
be in.
Because I'm Kirk Cousins. You see
You
this
like
ring,
that?
don't they?
Speaking of, did you see the Omaha productions of the Manning brothers looking for a
Rachel,
third host?
oh my God, that is the most awesome thing ever. I have such respect, new respect for Peyton Manning and maybe Eli. I don't know about Eli, but those guys that come on, Mike McDaniel, I think is fucking me. It's like they're so good, and it's like
Well,
the personality.
yeah, my favorite part of that whole thing was when one of the guys says, "You guys dress like this in real life?" Like,
Oh, I
yeah,
remember that.
they
Who
do.
said that?
I don't even
I
know who it
can't
was.
remember. And Jared Goff, Manning's like, so you want to be the part of the most important show? And Jared Goff's like, I thought this was for the Manning show. And I'm like,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I'm a
It,
I'm such a big Manning fan, like
oh yeah,
Peyton mostly, but the Manning family fan.
uh-huh.
And I watch their Omaha production stuff all the time just because they are good. I
They have
mean,
more
it
than
really
that.
does. Oh yeah, he's like it's a whole YouTube channel of just videos of them doing silly things like that. And I'm
Okay.
like, did you see the video of like he and Brady um, hitting golf balls in someone's backyard? I can't remember whose
No,
backyard now.
no.
It was pretty great, but
Was it their backyard?
no, it was not theirs. I should know who it is because I just blanked on it. But
Well, even the
yeah, it
Brady
was,
part was good. Yeah, no idea. And with the dog, are you
dude, that was
kidding
killer.
me?
Like that honestly was like that's a perfect way to end it.
It
And
was.
it was so funny. And I'm like, now I hope it is Brady. You know,
Are they really gonna have a third host?
I mean, I mean they bring people in like guest people
Right.
in every week, and I'm like I don't know why they would go away from that.
It's
Um, Three hosts can be tough at times,
yeah.
but
Tell me
so I
about
don't
it.
know that they would do
Just
that.
kidding.
But
Just kidding. Monday night, guys. I didn't mean that. Yeah. It was Ralphie D sent me the link, and I'm like, he sends me like these greatest links ever, and I'm like, this is spectacular. I love
hmm
you, Peyton Manning. Now I know that Omaha Productions is a thing. I'm gonna be so on board with that I can't
yeah,
stand them. All right.
it's good stuff.
So, in case you guys don't know what this is supposed to be, It's supposed to be Chase Young's out again, but that's here nor there. It's supposed to be. It's going to be maybe about trending topics, both popular culture and sports, is what the format is designed for. But it's Shannon and I on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. our time, so it could be anything. I'm not gonna lie, anything. My Saturday morning consists of dropping the dogs off at doggy daycare, going to farmers market where everyone that serves vegan stuff that I need is not on time, rushing back home. I didn't really rush, I'm not gonna lie. Coming back home, drinking copious amounts of coffee and or Celsius, and then talking to Shannon, and that's the lovely part of my day. But I should really do an underdog promo because they support Going for Two Network. So
Absolutely.
I know, right? And it was kind of like an easy segue in my head, but not really in real life. But if you guys are playing sports, which you should be, because tomorrow starts NFL for good. Forget about the Thursday game, although yay Lions. But oh my God, that's not Reggie Bush. I just turned it on, but it is Brady Quinn, so it's okay. It's a win-win. It's a win-lose. I don't know who that is. But if you play even college sports, CU's about to play Nebraska. I think you can still get bets in on that. Underdog will match your up to $100, I believe, if you use the capital G, capital F, capital 2, capital 2, and you can play any sport unless you're in Colorado. Then you can only do pick'ems, I think, and it's like weird rules. But everywhere else, go do it. I mean, if you have the money, don't do it if you don't have the money. Don't bet. I'm not a big proponent of people gambling if they don't have the money, although I do it a lot. But I don't want others to follow my lead. Anyway, so underdog, do it now or later. As soon as we finish, you can do it. If someone's watching Fox pregame college sports, will you please tell me who this is that's not Reggie Bush? It's a running back, but I don't know who it is. It's not Reggie Bush, and he's not as pretty as Reggie Bush. And I'm a little disappointed right now. I'm not gonna lie. Brady Quinn takes a little of that off. Oh, the Fox Sports is gonna have the CU game on. Let's talk about CU, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's talk about CU.
Okay, so
you go.
If you don't mind, let me start. I don't really watch a lot of college football. It's hard for me to watch a lot of sports in general.
Mhm.
What I have learned is that soccer, like European League soccer, is on early in the mornings, and that honestly could be watchable for me. I used to be so into college football. I was like a big SEC guy. I grew up, my family were like Tennessee fans, and like for years of my life, I really just was invested. And now, couldn't tell you what's happening. That said, I do know what happened last Saturday with TCU, and I do know what happened with Colorado, and I do know a little something about Deion, and I do live in Colorado. So all those things, I can talk about this.
Okay, let's do it. I'm here.
So let's just start with, I'm going to start with Deion because that's the most I have to go on here.
Mhm.
He was maybe the coolest motherfucker alive for a little while.
When can you give me a time span on that?
Let's say 93 to 96.
Okay.
Is that a good time to say?
Yeah,
For
I can
and
say
even
that.
before that, like when he was coming out of college, like going into the draft, and he was like having his like draft talk with the Giants, and they're like, "Oh, we have this spot," and he's like, "Well, I'm not going to be available then, so I gotta go," you know.
Oh, and
And
is
then
he at the combine? The one that ran the 40 and then just kept running? Okay.
yeah, he did the dash, and he was like, "That's it. That's all you need to see."
Okay.
And then, like, I mean, it's like college career, like it's just it's like Jim Brown, and Bo Jackson in my head are like, okay, these guys were like the most athletic guys that have ever existed, probably, just because they're multi-sport. Like Jim Brown was like the best lacrosse player in the world.
No, lacrosse.
Like
It's
he was
so
just
weird.
like, which it does I guess that does translate with football to a point, whatever.
Yeah, but you got to
And
think,
then
when he was a lacrosse player, there were very many African American lacrosse players.
true, and there probably was a lot fewer lacrosse players at the time, but still, I mean,
Yeah.
And then with Bo Jackson, it's obviously Bo knows.
Right.
I mean, what could he not do, kind of thing.
Right.
And then Deion, I mean, he was he could have likely played basketball as well, but baseball and football fit a little bit better, and so he was like able to do that and like hitting a home run one day and then getting a touchdown the next day, like things like that. It's just like maybe he was not rated high enough. Like maybe people have forgotten how cool this
Cool he
guy
was.
was. And then just like obviously his dress outside of that, like the Jerry curl, like there's very few times in your life where you're like you see somebody with a Jerry curl, like, could I have a Jerry curl? Could I have that for myself and look nothing like this guy at all? It's like every dude that shaves their head and loses a little bit of weight thinks they're going to look like Brad Pitt from Fight Club, and it's just not the reality of what we live in. Yeah, he was just like the coolest guy in the world. And then the fact, one more thing about how cool he was.
Okay.
Never have I seen a human wear a bandana and look as cool as he did. Like Tupac is as close as
See,
you
I was
can
going
get,
down. I was going to go Tupac.
but then like Dion just like a little cooler, just a little bit cooler in my estimation. I'm open to being wrong.
Yeah.
So going from Jackson State, who had quite a year last year,
Yes.
being an HBCU, like having the record they had, and then also like even when that like the water thing happened and they didn't have water in Mississippi for a while and they still played a game and still won kind of thing. And then like his son just being a winner, and the fact that like they were both almost, and like Dion was like calling for the Atlanta Falcons job like a few years ago, and I guess he got kind of laughed off or whatever. I don't know why they're the fucking Atlanta Falcons, but the fact that he was like, I want the Florida State job, and they're like, no way, and now he's at Colorado, and granted, they need to win this next game to, kind of
make it
keep the
legit.
ball rolling. However, beating TCU is great. Like, that was great. And watching that other kid that, like, was playing corner that was getting interceptions and all these tackles, and then his son just going off, all that kind of stuff. Wow, what a Saturday. And that's what you watch sports for. They're actually stories. Like, it's not so much the game as it is the story that goes along with it. And having someone like Dion wear a cowboy hat and be in Colorado of all places.
Thank you. That for me is the craziest thing. The Colorado, like when they hired him, I thought it was like a publicity stunt. I'm like, why? First of all, why would Deion Sanders want to come to Colorado? Was my first thought. Like you could, because the Florida State job was open. I believe the Nebraska job was open too at the same time. Colorado is coming off a season where they were historically bad.
Yeah.
And so I understand that aspect. Like, you really can't do worse. So if you go there, you win a couple games, you're on top. But you're Deion Sanders, and you're in Colorado. I was like, that to me was the weird part. Like, after I got over that weirdness, it was okay.
Well, I mean, this is a nice place to be. I mean, a lot of athletes come here and they're like, oh, yeah, I just like living here. It's great. But then playing for that school, but also the Nebraska thing, like the Cornhuskers think at some point that it's going to be 1996 again. That was a long, long time ago, and maybe give up. I don't know. Like, well, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say to certain fan bases because, like, I gave up on my team years ago, and then they turned it around somehow.
Who's your team?
The Volunteers.
Oh, that's why you love Peyton. All right, that makes sense now. It makes total sense. Well, here's my thing. I have a really bad distaste for Matt Rhule. I've always had a bad taste for Matt Rhule. So if they stop Nebraska and Matt Rhule, I will be the happiest person, and my life will be complete for today anyway. But
for a few hours.
For a few hours, I'll be really, really happy and then crash. But I think that I watched the game. Like I watch college football. Like I'm more NFL, but I watched the game and then I had to turn it off because I thought TCU was going to come back in the fourth quarter, and I'm like, turn it on at the end, kind of look. It was a great thing. Like one, because everyone's like, his son's not that great. He played HBCU. That competition isn't that great. I'm sorry, you just schooled TCU for like 500 yards and like 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
The kid that's playing dual, Parker, I think is his last name, playing both offense and defense.
Yeah.
How is he not in the Heisman? How is he not in the Heisman conversation? I understand Caleb Williams won it last year, and so he's like really great, and everyone's tanking for Caleb or whatever. But Shadur, is that how you pronounce it? Shadur Sanders?
I believe so. Yeah, yeah.
I want to know what that name means. How? Okay, I heard someone say, yeah, it's really great, but their defense let TCU score 500 or 500, get 500 yards. I don't care. The final score was CU up. It doesn't matter. Like Dion even said, yeah, our defense, it wasn't as good as it could be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my biggest takeaway from that, because I didn't, after I knew he was here and I got over the weirdness, I'm like, okay, let it go. But my biggest takeaway is that he wasn't afraid to get an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator who probably knew way more than he did.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He wasn't like, no, I'm not going to let, I'm Deion Sanders, so I'm going to run all this. And granted, he did run 63 players away, but his team won. His team beat TCU, who stopped CU last year. Here, we went there. They went there and won. I'm not on the Deion train because I think he's batshit crazy right now. I think that he's in this part of his life where he's just batshit crazy, where he says just crazy things, and he's okay with it. But I am on the CU train, and I don't care, especially today against Nebraska.
So I watch more NFL as well. So do we want to use that as a segue?
Oh, we could.
Great.
Yeah, let's do that.
Lions Chiefs.
Oh, I love my friend Josh Bills loves the Lions. He's one of those fans that has been a fan when they were really bad. He puts on his Detroit Lions underwear, and I don't think he changes it through the rest of the year.
They've always been really bad for the most part.
No, they haven't. So forever, he's been a fan. And I'm in a fantasy football league with him, and so the Go Lions stuff, and I'm like, I hope they win just for Josh. And when Campbell did the fourth down in enemy territory and took it, I'm like, I don't need to see anything else of this game.
I don't know anyone who hasn't seen that guy yammer for more than a minute and a half and thought, you know what? There's no way I can. Yeah. I'm going to run through a brick wall. I will do it for you, Dan Campbell.
Because, can you and you juxtapose that with? Did you see the video of the Arizona coach Gannon? And are you guys on the bus? I'm like, what one thing
really,
is not like the other.
Really light the fire under their asses, sir. Holy. Do they play this year? Do the Lions and the Cards play? Because I might bet on that game. Good God.
I'm like, I couldn't even watch the whole thing because I felt so bad for him. I'm like, dude.
As people younger than us would say, the Riz is real, and he's not risen up anybody. There's nothing rolling off of that human to really jazz up. I wonder if he's married. Actually, I guess I need to find these things out. I need to have I'm gonna just commission my wife to deep dive on this guy's life. Does he have kids? Does he have a dog? Does his dog like him?
His dog doesn't like him because.
Well, does his dog listen to his commands? Does he tell the dog to sit, and does the dog sit? That's the kind of thing that you wonder about those persons. Dan Campbell walks in the room, and the dog
just automatically sits.
Yeah.
Exactly. He goes, I know the command's coming. I'm sitting. Yeah. So everyone's going to say Chris Jones, Travis Kelce wasn't there. Other teams play without players. I'm sorry. That is no excuse. That is no excuse. Dan Campbell his players play for him. His players play for him no matter what, and they don't stop playing.
The buy-in is real.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what the score is. They keep playing, and I think they asked maybe Jamar Gibbs, what he thought when Campbell went for it on the fourth down enemy territory. He goes, "That's what he do. That's how he is."
I think much like the 3-point has come alive in the NBA within the last decade, really, I guess now, but people are realizing that math is kind of on your side to go for it on fourth.
Yeah, but where he was, go for it on fourth, I understand. But where they went for it on fourth is the amazing thing. Yeah.
Truly. But still, I think the math is in your favor. And granted, again, it's math and you still have to make the plays, right?
Right.
You see plenty of fourth downs where that doesn't happen. That said, it did happen, and that's the thing too, is like, again, sports are stories, and so having stories like that, week one, game one of the season against the national champion is awesome, right?
Yeah, in their home stadium.
That's yeah, in their home stadium, which is not an easy place to play by no means. And that's like big. I mean, that's kind of a big momentum thing, whatever. Like, obviously, you hope it doesn't go to like people's heads, but it's like, we can, if we actually buy in, we can do this because we are a
Yeah,
team, right?
I
Because and there's nothing more. My father was a big underdog guy, so like anytime there was any kind of game on and I was watching it with him, I'm like, who are you going for? He's like, well, this team isn't supposed to win, so I'm going for them. So like any underdog, not fantasy, real life, any underdog thing that I can root for, I'm for the most part behind. Like, there's certain teams that I'll just never like for various reasons, but I like underdogs.
I always root for the underdog unless they're playing the Steelers. Unless the team is playing the Steelers or the Pirates or the Penguins, I'm rooting for you.
Yeah.
Even college, like I went to Penn State and U of L. If they're playing, well, U of L is usually always the underdog, so that's easy. But a team playing Penn State, if Penn State is favored, I'm still going for the underdog,
Hmm.
mainly because I hate Franklin. But still, I think even if Franklin wasn't there, I would still go for the underdog. I think those are better stories. Those, and it's like one game. You're going to be all right. It's one game. You're going to be fine. But
Maybe you lose that game and then things go the wrong
rolls
way.
downhill all the way. Well,
Yeah.
that's life.
I'll never
Like,
forget the coach for Notre Dame, Lou Holtz.
mm-hmm.
There's a game he lost, and the story goes that one of the assistant coaches came into his office and he's just under his desk crying.
Oh my God.
Things like that. Like that, again, sports are stories, and that's what makes it so good.
I would. Okay, I'd probably pay to see that. I would hope they have that film.
Old Marble Mouth himself crying.
Crying exactly under. I don't think I cry at games. I can't think of a sporting event that actually brought me to it, unless like the Hamlin thing, like someone gets really hurt and you don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm like, I don't know if I can watch a Buffalo Bills game at all this year. I don't think I can watch a Miami game at all this year because I'm always afraid that Tua's going to get hurt, head's going to go to the ground, and he's going to get up all wobbly, and I can't watch that. Or Hamlin's going to go down. Like, once a player gets hurt, seriously hurt on a team, the team's done for it. Like, I will still root for them. I just can't watch them on. I can't watch if that person's playing. Because
it's definitely tough. It's
how do they
watching
play?
Anybody. Yeah,
And
it's tough
you know
watching
what I mean?
anybody. I mean,
how do they play? Like Tua, I'd be like, like someone come near me. No,
that's the hope, is that you don't get that way and you you're
like,
able to because I guess because you watch. To go back to the Chiefs real quick, like Mahomes is still ungodly. Like, he's just unreal.
Whatever.
And even when he runs, you're not really worried about him getting blasted by no means. Like, the way he moves and shields himself and gets to the ground and slides and all that stuff, you're like, oh, he's not really going to get blasted. Like, there's one play where he's going out of bounds, this guy kind of dove towards his knees, and I was like, ooh. And it got missed, but I'm like, don't do that, he's clearly going out of bounds. But
do you think players?
Yeah, you hope that.
Do you think players think, this is Patrick Mahomes, I'm not going to hit him really hard? Do you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if it's in their heads. No, because it's Patrick. I think there are certain players like
nobody wants to hurt anybody. Nobody wants to hurt anybody.
No, but you want to hit them, or at least in my estimate, when I play sports, you want to leave a message. If someone, if I'm pitching and the ball gets too close to you, I want you to know that that's an option.
Yeah.
There's always that option that I could hit you with the ball because it gives a little intimidation factor. But I think there were people that I would play against that I would be like, no, I'm not even going to get really close to her with the ball. Because
I think I pride myself on having body control, and so as to not hopefully make contact with anybody unless I need to. Obviously, there's times you're gonna have to need to, whatever. There's sports where you need to, and so. But I think with that body control, you're able to hit the right way is the hope. But obviously, it's a sport and things are moving so fast, and people make weird movements, and any number of things can happen.
Like, I would think, Brady would be one of those people. I would think Tom Brady is one of those people that you run up to and you're like, I'm not gonna hit him that hard. Or the opposite, I'm gonna I don't know. I think that there's that there's that aura around certain players that other players have to feel too. I mean, they're human. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You read about Brady all the time. You read about how great Mahomes is all the time, and you start to buy into it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I have not bought into the Mahomes yet, mainly because his wife is annoying, but that's another matter altogether.
Oh my gosh. Is she annoying?
Yeah, she's.
So I knew his brother was like
Oh my,
obnoxious.
his brother's ridiculous.
So
Like-
there is a video of them at like I think they're at some basketball game. I want to say I'm sure it's an NBA game of Mahomes and his wife,
Uh-huh.
and he says something to her of the effect of like, "Hey, easy with the resting bitch face," and she turns to her friend, and she's like, "Yeah, he just told me no more resting bitch face," and she goes like that,
I don't even.
and I
don't.
I will never get that image out of my head of her. I hate that to hear that she's obnoxious because I mean he's a dude, so I'm sure he's more than obnoxious as well.
Right.
But I hate to hear that about her.
Why?
And like I do say that like I think they're on the same level of like attractiveness. Like they're not like really that hot, but they're just like they're on the same level.
Well,
Obviously,
she's more attractive than he is.
oh yeah, I think she's more attractive than him, but not a lot by
Okay.
any means.
Yeah,
And
I
so that to say like him being who he is, he could absolutely find any number of slam
Yes.
pieces, as some would say.
Well,
I would not. Some would say that, and then obviously, you
it
know,
would not be me.
it
Saying
would not
that
be me
without
either.
slam pieces. Yeah.
Yeah. But that to say, you know, he could obviously
Right.
choose to like, you know, whatever. So I think the fact that they've been together and it seems like they do care for each other. That's great. I don't know about her personally because I've never hung out with her, but fingers crossed that she's really a better
Well, I
person.
mean,
in
I don't think.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Not okay. So they've been together since what? College, like first year of college or high school or something. They've been together a long time, and she was
Yeah.
with him before he was
who he is.
who he is now. So kudos to her for that, and kudos to her for like realizing that. She's just kind of that, and maybe it's not from a girl's standpoint. It's obnoxious. It's like what is her name? Brittany. This is my fitness workout. Like I think she's like a trainer or something,
Mm-hmm.
and she just says obnoxious things during games, like on Twitter. That I'm like, you and your friends, shush. What's it is?
Yeah, I feel like
If you could be Brittany or you could be Sierra, be Sierra. That's fine. You know. I mean,
I like
Sierra
where your
doesn't-
head's at.
yeah.
Well, you also got to imagine Sierra's a good bit older than this lady
Yeah,
too,
that's true, too.
and probably.
You think it's an age thing? An age? Probably. Yeah, I see
I would
that.
have to say so because I mean
Plus,
I hang
Sierra
out
was
with a
more
lot of-
accomplished too. You know what I mean? Like
yes,
has her
very
own-
much so. This
but
girl's Patrick Mahomes' wife. Like Sierra was an artist or is an
Sierra
artist.
is an artist. She's pregnant again, I think.
Oh, of course they are. Like they wait until marriage. He's such a dork. Russell Wilson is such a dork. Like I mean, forget I said dork. He's a dweeb.
He's kind of a dweeb, isn't he? Like I always wonder, he's got to be really good in bed, because Sierra is like, and he's like, not even looks, just like, she's Sierra, for the love of God. Have you seen a video with her, like the song her and Justin Timberlake do together? I can't think of the song, that video. You just look at that video and then you look at Russell Wilson and you're like, wow, you are out of your league right now, buddy. Good on you.
I just have to imagine he's just like a genuine person that she's in love with, and that's great.
I think that
But whatever.
she is, and she has to be in love with him, because
Yeah.
when he talks, it's like, ooh, please don't.
Yeah,
Please
nothing
stop talking.
cool's coming. Nothing cool's coming.
Nothing cool's coming out of the mouth. Nope, nothing cool. What up, Jay? So I love Jay, Facebook user. I love that it says Facebook user. That's the funniest thing. Wait,
Okay,
I want to talk about one thing, and it kind of has to do with this, sort of. So I just watched The Flash, the new Flash movie, because I didn't have to pay for it. It was on my TV. I heard it was bad. I thought it was good. I thought it was. I don't want to give spoilers, but I'm going to. So if you guys haven't seen them, okay. But if someone who is watching hasn't seen it, don't listen to this. So
we'll give you a signal when we're done talking about The Flash, and it's going to go like this. That's when we're done talking about the Flash. But right now we're talking about the Flash.
Yeah. So with the first movie with the Flash in it, this kid Flash, I thought he was good. I really did. I thought he was a good Flash. I mean, I like the kid that plays the Flash on TV too, but I couldn't
Grant
see him,
Gustin.
I couldn't see him playing that role in the first movie. This movie here, I thought was good. Like, I thought the premise was good. I thought the acting, of course, is good. But all I could think about was how batshit crazy that kid is in real life. And it kind of ruined it. Like, I couldn't separate his persona from what he was doing on the screen. And that ruined the movie for me. Not it ruined, but I liked it because Michael Keaton as Batman is the shit. Like, I love Michael Keaton as Batman. And then, I'm sorry, Greg Clooney showing up was like, yes, please. But, you know what I mean? Like, it was, the whole thing was, why are you so crazy? Why?
Yeah. It is kind of hard to separate, and I want to say that I liked Ezra Miller, I guess, or whatever. And like, eventually, like, I didn't really think about it too much because, like, I didn't really know what happened. I just knew there was something about it. I did think the movie was a bit goofy for me. I've like watched a lot of.
See, you're a comic book guy. I'm not that person. I'm a person that, like, I don't know the history of Marvel, and I don't know the history of the Flash. So you're like my nephew, sort of, but older. Like, you guys, if something's out of sync of what it should be like traditionally, it kind of ruins the movie for you. I don't know what history is, so
it was fine. Like, it was fine. I don't know that I'm not gonna rewatch it a bunch. And like, Michael Keaton's Batman, I appreciate it for what it is, but it's like, he's not my favorite Batman by no means.
Who's your favorite Batman?
My favorite Batman is Kevin Conroy, who is the voice of Batman from the animated series.
No. On the movies, who's your favorite Batman? And go.
You know, I don't know. Like, the Christian Bale Batman movies weren't really Christian. Like, he wasn't really the focal point. It was kind of the enemies, which was good, right?
Right.
I do love the ones from the 90s. The I forget the director's name now, but the ones with Val Kilmer and George Clooney. Those were like the 1960s Batmans to me. I did love the Batman with Robert Pattinson. Like, he was.
You haven't seen that one.
That is a very good Batman.
Is that Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman?
Yes, that's a very good Batman movie. That might be my favorite Batman movie, honestly.
So is that one really dark?
Yeah.
Is that why you like it? Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if that's why I like it. I mean,
is it darker than the Christian Bale's?
Yeah. Because the Christian Bale ones, there's parts of it that are like, dark, whatever, but there's also kind of parts that are like a little kitschy. And I think people forget that a little bit, but I do enjoy them. I've watched them a ton. Like, there's like scenes from those movies that you can't get over. But obviously Heath Ledger is like the real winner that comes out of those movies, right?
Right. That's true.
So,
but I think what's his face's Bane was good.
Yes, and I love Tom, whatever his last name is. But going back to the Flash, yeah, the movie was a little goofy, and like, I kind of seen so many like Flash things. Like, I've watched the TV show, I've like, seen all the animated stuff, but like, I kind of knew, like, I know the beats, right? And I don't know, it was for whatever reason, and like, it's not that the Flash isn't funny, because like, he is like the heart of the Justice League, so like, he does have like humor and things like that, and he does like sacrifice a lot usually to save the day. But Ezra, I don't know, whatever, he like makes goofy faces sometimes, and I'm like, I don't love that. Like, that part, I'm like, whatever, But it was fine. The movie was fine. It's not the end all be all for me.
Yeah, I mean,
and I try not to compare either. It was fine. Like, just taking it as it is, it's fine to me. But I wasn't like over the moon.
Did you like the Flash, the TV show?
Yeah, I think I watched up until season 5 or 6, and then they had a bunch of crossover episodes with the other DC shows that were on TV, and I watched all of those crossover episodes because I was really big. Like, it's the Arrowverse is what it is considered.
Arrow, yeah.
And So I've watched all those crossovers. I know how like they all go and whatever. And I will say this is surprising, because this was kind of like a thing that was talked about years ago, like when all this kind of stuff started, as far as like really started, like I want to say like after 2006 with Iron Man, and like people like realized like, oh, more stuff's coming out. So like DC and Marvel, is that like there is a little bit of superhero fatigue that I'm feeling.
Oh,
Like this happened with people, I want to say in the 1950s with like cowboy movies, or maybe 1960s. Like people were like, all right, we're tired of cowboy movies. Like we've had enough, you know. So the westerns kind of started going out of fashion. Um, but a little bit of fatigue. So like a few weeks ago, went to the movies. My wife wanted to go see Blue Beetle, and I went to go see Last Voyage of the Demeter, which was like a vampire movie
okay.
on a ship. And she went to go see Blue Beetle, and then my movie ended sooner, so I went to sit with her to watch the last like 30 minutes of her movie, and I was like, man, glad I went to go see the vampire on a ship movie. But I also know the Blue Beetle story, so I didn't, like there wasn't anything new there for me. There's no new ground, right? So
Uh,
if I'm choosing.
on either of those movies, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't think.
Blue Beetle is another DC comic
Oh, okay,
superhero about a
okay,
kid who basically gets this alien suit that is sentient, and so it's like basically like them trying to like bond to become a superhero, and there's other people who are like obviously wanting the power for themselves.
of
Blah blah
course.
blah.
And the vampire on a ship.
Um, these, and I'm going to use this word. I'm not going to use the word. These Romani travelers are paid to drop off a shipment on this ship called the Demeter.
Okay,
There's a doctor, a black doctor, who has yet to find work as a doctor because he's black, and it's like the 1800s or something like that.
okay.
And he is able to like get on the ship, and it's this crew going from, I don't remember where, from maybe Italy or somewhere, I don't know, back to London. And it's like a weeks and weeks voyage, but just so happens one of the crates has a woman in it, and they find this woman, and she's like in poor health, and the doctor's trying to save her, but then these like mysterious things start happening on the ship, and it ends up being a vampire, um, trying to get to London.
She's the vampire.
She is not a vampire, but there is a vampire on the
Okay.
ship, and she was trying to get to London.
The vampires
Or
are female
the
too.
No, I'm sorry, the vampire was trying to get to London, not
Oh,
her.
okay.
He. And it was honestly a lot of fun. I really did enjoy it, but I'm a sucker for vampire things. So there you go.
Vampire things. Um, what?
Do we need to give the signal for we're done with Flash?
Oh yeah. That's we're done with Flash. What is the significance of the female?
She was kept in a crate for the vampire to feed on during his voyage.
Okay. So that's why she was in poor health. Wait, wouldn't he
Yes.
want her to be healthy?
Well, he'd already been feeding on her.
Oh, that's why she was in poor health.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. Did you like Interview with the Vampire?
So again, I'm a sucker for vampire movies. Yes,
Oh.
I loved it. Like that cast, honestly, it's so good. It's so good. Except I don't like Kirsten Dunst.
Really? I would
I
think
don't
that
like her.
you're all over. Who's the girl that you
She's
told me that you like? Dark hair,
Jennifer
married to the
Connelly.
Franco? No.
Married to who?
The Franco, one of the Francos.
Oh, Alison Brie.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
now every Netflix or Hulu movie I watch, she's in it, and I don't
Great.
know if it's because you suggested, like it's a suggestion in my mind. Like she
Mhm.
was in one with Jason Sudeikis. That was I'm
Sleeping
like,
with Other People.
yes. I'm
My
like, oh
favorite
my god,
rom-com
this is
of all
a
time.
good movie.
My favorite rom-com of all time.
Okay, that is valid because wouldn't be my favorite, but it'd be in the top 5.
It's
That
my
was
favorite.
such a good movie. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch this because Shannon, I love Jason Sudeikis, and Shannon likes this girl, so she can't be that bad. Her face is like odd, but
She's
it
got big
was.
eyes. I like big eyes, big smiles. Like Julia Roberts. She really does
Uh,
it for me too.
no,
Emma Roberts, her niece, also
that's
does it for
valid.
me.
Yeah, no, not so much on Emma Roberts, but Julia Roberts, yes. And this Brie chick, and I'm like, this is a great movie. Like the whole thing, all the way through. You're not.
Yep.
Yeah, and it had a really good cast. Like,
Yeah.
not just those two, but everybody else on the side was really good. All right,
Yeah.
you want to talk about your Survivor? Because we have like
Okay.
8 minutes.
Oh, 8 minutes. I thought we
Wait.
had 5.
Wait, we said 43, right?
We have
Did
3
say 40?
minutes.
3 minutes. Survivor.
Okay, great.
Go.
Okay.
I've never seen a Survivor. I've never seen.
Great. That's fine. It's been on for a very, very long time.
Yeah, I know.
The game has gone through several iterations and it's changed a lot. The current iteration that it is in, which is interesting because they're really story driven now. So the game used to be game, like it's just like game.
Is this like Lord of the Flies, though, right?
Kind of. I mean, they're on an island. They have basic needs met, like sunscreen. They have somewhat of a shelter. They earn food. They're
food?
there. Yeah. Like you have to win challenges or whatever to get rice or whatever, beans and such. And if you win certain challenges,
you don't get food?
No.
So people could starve and die there? If you're not really good at the game?
They could starve and like be in a bad spot. They won't let them die, but they'll let them get close. Like if they're like feigning and stuff like that, they're like, well, we'll just take you out of the game. You can't play anymore.
Okay.
But that's to say, I don't even want to really talk about the game. Well, I will say this about the game. The game has changed in that it's so much story driven now. It's character driven. So people get on this island and it's not so, and there is gameplay happening, but it's more so they're like finding these people with these backstories that people are invested in. And this year, they've in fact increased each episode. I want to say to like, because each episode was like, 50 minutes or so. But now I want to say that the episodes are even longer this year, like 90-minute episodes. So they're really leaning into like the character work. And I'll touch on this very quickly. Jeff Probst, probably the best TV game show host that has existed. I'm kind of stealing this a little bit from Bill Simmons. Years ago, he talked about this.
Okay.
But Jeff Probst is consistent. He's just now showing his age, like within the last year and a half, maybe. And he really does love the show, and you can tell. And I mean, he's
showing his age how?
And that, like, you can tell he's like finally aging. I mean, for 30 years, he hasn't aged. Like he's been the same.
Aesthetically, okay.
Yes, and he's just now like showing his age within the last year and a half or so, which is incredible. He's been on TV forever, and you usually kind of can tell, like, oh, he's getting a little bit older. But like, I have to say, he really does love and care for the game. The sports connection, if we want to make a sports connection, is Tim Duncan's older brother is a producer on the show.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, Survivor. Again, it's been a lot of things, and a lot of people have loved it. A lot of like Tyler Perry is like a huge fan. Sia, the singer, is also like a huge fan. She like gave prizes away herself, like personally, for a few years to like contestants after the show was over. It was like pretty incredible. But yeah, the show itself has like changed a lot, and like for the good and bad.
Do you think the people that are huge fans are people that would survive on Survivor, or people that wouldn't survive on Survivor? Like, I can't see Tyler Perry or Sia surviving in a kind of element that I think Survivor is. Although, granted, I've never seen a show, so maybe they would.
It's not Naked and Afraid. You're not dropped off with nothing in nowhere. I'm
sorry, that's a show?
Naked and Afraid? Yeah. I've only seen an episode or two, but like they drop people off, they're naked and they're alone and they have to survive
in the jungle,
I think in different places, like jungles, forests, all kinds of places.
Oh, not like
maybe not the desert. Yeah. Oh yeah, not like suburbia. That's 16th Street in Denver.
That is true. So people are, and you're totally naked.
Or Portland, Oregon. There's people that are naked afraid walking around Portland, Oregon.
That's gross. I'm sorry. You're naked in the jungle. They're just dropping you off, so you have to like. Okay, first of all,
you have to figure it out. But it's like people who like have trained and like are survivalists.
Oh, okay.
Like they've like it's not just the average person off the street. It's like somebody who's like, oh, I go on these trips and I hike, 200 miles and whatever.
Okay.
People who are prepared for this, but again, most of them dip out. Like you're not able to like get through the whole thing, but
totally understandable. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do your Survivor spill. Go.
No, you're good. That's really all I had to say. Is that the show has changed. It's character driven, which is very interesting. Jeff Probst is one of the best game show hosts of all time.
So you're encouraging people to watch Survivor now.
It is fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it is fun. If you can watch it with a couple people, that's really the way to go.
Okay.
And I don't really care. Like, I don't really like do the whole, I wonder who's going to win. Like, I guess, this person's going to win or whatever. I'm just kind of there for the ride. But still, you can do that.
And speaking of watching it with a couple people, thank you, whoever's watching today. And you can come back next week and watch with a couple more people. Bring some friends. And I still need someone to tell me someone who's watching Fox pregame before the Nebraska CU game, but that's going to be on Fox. Who is the guy that is not Reggie Bush? But there's only one black guy on the panel. So, I mean, it's not Reggie Bush. It's just not. I know he's a running back. I just can't figure out who he is. And he's really big and he's really thick. And Matt Leinart is starting to show his age. So, not that I mind.
Oh, that's oh my gosh. I know that guy.
Thank you. Right? Who is that? I know he's a running back, right? And I know that
I think he might have played for Nebraska, right?
Did he? Ooh, I don't know. I just need to know who it is because it's gonna.
No, he played for. I don't know.
Haunt me.
I don't know. I say this and I don't know anything about college football anymore.
It's gonna haunt me. So, someone leave me a DM or something to let me know who it is because I gotta. After we're done, dip and go.
Oh, he played for Alabama.
Who doesn't play for Alabama? Everyone plays for Alabama.
Well, everybody could. Roll Tide, roll, baby.
Oh, I'm so going to be for Texas tonight, and I really hate Starkazian, but I'm still rolling for Texas.
I was joking with my buddies the other day, or like a little while ago. I was like, do I have to watch Texas games to see this Manning kid, to see Arch Manning? Which I guess he's not playing. I guess that Quinn guy or whatever is playing quarterback.
Mark Ingram. Boom!
Mark Ingram, yeah.
It just said it. That's why I think.
But I'm like, do I have to watch Texas games to see Arch Manning? Like, is this something?
He's not the starting quarterback, is he?
He's not. But I thought he might end up being. But I guess that other guy cleaned up his act or whatever.
I have a feeling by mid-season he'll be the starting quarterback.
Really? I heard this quarterback kid is like really, really good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is he a Manning?
Quinn? No, but Manning's coming in as a freshman. The other guy's the other guy is supposedly awesome.
Okay. We'll see tonight how awesome he is.
Tonight.
How awesome he is. Yeah.
Well,
also,
some of us will see. I won't see.
Coco is playing for the final U.S. Open. I think 1 o'clock our time. So 3 o'clock regular time. No.
So I've only glanced at the U.S. Open, but I do know that she said when she was down in that match that she's like, I can't lose in front of the Biebers. There's no way I'm losing in front of Haley and Justin Bieber. And what motivation? How to just really drill down and find something inside of you. Say, you know what?
I can't lose in front of the Biebs.
I'm not losing in front of the Biebers.
He didn't look good. I'm sorry. I know he has like bipolar or something, but he did not look good.
So it's not my style, but here's what I will say. As someone who also likes to dress like trash, I appreciate it, honestly.
Oh, it wasn't how he dressed. He just looked really gaunt. Like his face was really thin.
Yeah. He is looking a little
I am the last person to talk about how someone dresses because any of you who live in Colorado see me walking my dog, I pretty much wear the same thing like every friggin' day. One, it lets my dogs know we're going out, but two, it's just like a pair of sweats and I throw on a sweatshirt and I'm like,
yeah,
and we're out.
It's jeans, t-shirt, and denim and leather for me all the time.
Farmer's market, cargo pants, and this tank top. That's it. I was on time though. Nobody else was. Oh, well, half of nobody was. Vegans, come on. My vegan people, this is my last implore. Please be on time. You guys are going to mess up my whole Saturday schedule. And I'm not going to get my sweets. Like the vegan chocolate cookies weren't there. Whew. Carrot cake, I know. This girl's really good. I wish I knew her. The Hungry Tree Vegan, I think is what they call. She's on Instagram too. But she does basically only desserts, and they're always vegan. And they're carrot cake, bundt chocolate cake. She makes s'mores cookies.
Wow. I'm in.
I would be too if I could get them, but All right. Anyway, we're 6 minutes over our 43 minutes.
We did it.
We did it. All right, you guys. We will see you next Saturday. Shannon, you need to look him up on Instagram because he is an Instagram influencer. He influences me.
Not even close.
influences me. Isn't that what that means? No, that's what the kids
Sure.
say. Yeah. So that's his Instagram account. Come to me on Twitter, but don't ask me. Like, you can ask me questions about start and sit, but if you don't like my answers, I mean, there's no need to get aggressive about it. Jay, thank you for chiming in. Thank you for being here. Terry, I know you're here. You just don't want to talk. And Ramon, welcome back. Ramon was on a cruise, and he just got back into Jacksonville. I know, right? He went to the Bahamas, him and his hubby and a family. So welcome back, Ramon, and we will talk to you next week. Shannon, as always, love you so much. Bye.